Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Daily Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 18th June today, and in this video, we are going to discuss few important articles which could be relevant for your preparation. Before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get connected with us. Basically, from 2nd June, actually, we had started the initiative, namely Target UPSC 2026, or we can say Target IS 2026. In this initiative, every day we are uploading two videos. In the first one, which is this video, we discuss the daily news analysis so that we can cover your current affairs. And in the evening session, we take up the another video where we discuss the static portion of your syllabus, and we had started with Indian polity. And our aim is by the month of Jan 2026, we will try to complete your full syllabus. We will try to cover every subject in these discussions except your optionals. So if you are interested in this initiative, so please do subscribe the channel. Let us be the part of your journey. It is totally free and you will definitely like it. So with this, without any delay now, let's have a look at the first article which we have to discuss today. As you can see here on the screen, the article is basically about what is the end game of Netanyahu, the Israeli president. What does he want? Finally, the Israeli prime minister, what does he want? What is his approach? And what is the reason why he attacked Iran? Why Israel attacked Iran? What is the reason for that? Right now, if we will see what was the situation, before they attacked Iran, there were negotiations were going on between USA and Iran, and there were many countries who were, brokering this negotiation. And negotiations were about what? About the nuclear program of Iran. If we will see what were the various reports given by IEAE, it is very much clear that right now the nuclear program which is running in Iran, even though they were working on it, but it was not that fatal. They had not enriched the uranium to that level where it can be used in nuclear weapons. It was very much clearly laid down in the report. But still, there are fears in the Western media. There is fear in the Western world that Iran should not have the nuclear weapons. They should never try to adopt that. And with respect that we earlier, before the Biden government, when there was the first term of Trump government, we earlier had the nuclear deal here with Iran. But unfortunately, that Iran was very much following the requirements of that deal. There were regular checks by different organizations, but still, Donald Trump in 2018 he unilaterally withdrew from that deal. After that, as it is believed that since unilateral removal of USA from the deal, the Iran still followed the conditions of that deal for almost 1 to 2 years. But we saw that what happened in 2023 when the war started between Israel and Gaza, the attack in Israeli territory, and the retaliation from Israel, and we know that how many people were killed in Gaza. After that, the main goal of this whole conflict, if we will look it into a different picture, the main goal of all these conflicts was finally the main goal is to stop Iran. The main goal is to stop Iran. Whatever is happening in Gaza, that is a different story. But if we will, if we will broaden it, if we will broaden the picture, then we will find out there is definitely connections with the Israel also. We saw that what happened in Lebanon, the proxies of Iran, with respect to Hezbollah, and also the Hamas in Gaza. They are all the proxies of Iran. Houthis in Yemen, they are all proxies of Iran. And the main factor, the main point on which the Netanyahu and his government is working on to curb all these proxies, to make this land free of all these proxies, and also the free of right now what is the regime of Israel. So in this regard, now the new negotiations were going on. Coming back to the topic here, new negotiations were going on. There was they were set to meet on Sunday, but before few days, they were attacked by Israel. So what was the goal of the Israel? If we'll see now in this article, the article here is trying to analyze what would be the future outcome of this attack. What is the goal of the Israel? What they had achieved in this. Let's try to analyze that. The main goal of Israel was to end the nuclear establishments in Tehran or in Iran, to end nuclear establishments in Iran. But have they successfully had they achieved this goal? The answer to it is big no, because it is beyond their capabilities to attack in these regions, because the fortification is done by the Iranian government in such a way that it would be very much hard for Israel to destroy those bunkers. Even the Israel does not have the technologies to bust those bunkers. So for that they would definitely need the help from the USA, and right now they are in a way begging USA to enter into this conflict, and to end the nuclear establishments of the Iran. But was it the necessity? If we look at it, if we will again go back to the picture, what was the situation at the time when Israel attacked Iran? Iran was ready to negotiate. Negotiations were going on. The rounds were going on. It was not at all needed for the world peace. It was not at all needed. They acted proactively, but unfortunately they did not succeed in it. Right now what they need help from USA. Now if USA will enter into this conflict, there would be it would expand to the wider region. It may expand to the wider region. Iran, if not, they will attack the USA's soil, but at least they will try to attack the establishments of the USA in the Gulf region. Their air bases. They will try to attack air bases. And also what Iran can do, they can block the Hormuz Strait. So definitely it is going to have a wider impact on the world. The oil prices will rise to the highest level. So first thing what they tried to do, they tried to end the nuclear establishments in Iran, but they failed in that, and they did not expect the retaliation. That severe retaliation from the Iran, what they are facing right now. Their ports had been under fire. Haifa port is under fire, and our interests were with the Haifa port. In fact, our interests were with the Haifa port, that we were trying to build that economic corridor with Europe, in which many countries were involved. That is under threat right now, and also the Tel Aviv, we are seeing what is happening in that region. So they had least expected it, even though the damage in the Israeli side is very little with respect to the life. But if we have to understand that Israel is a very small country when we compare it with the land area, and to that extent, if you are damaged, your air defense system, if fails, it shows lot of things. It highlights lot of weaknesses of yours, and it puts you in a position that where you cannot now back down, and at the same time you cannot fully attack, because you are at the end you are putting the whole Middle East in that position, so which can be very dangerous for everybody there. So their first goal was to end the nuclear establishments in Iran, but they failed. What was their second goal? When we saw that the attack, which was very unneeded, the attack they did on the Tehran, and they killed their top officials. And if we will see the statements made by the different officials from Israel, what they said, that they are trying to change the regime in Iran. But is that possible? If you are attacking the top officials without any warning, you are killing the people there, it will further strengthen the approach of Iran there. It will further strengthen the the situation in Iran. The people in Iran will further support their leader. They will try to believe that the Israel was really the harm for them. So it has united the people in Iran rather than dividing them. So killing the killing the officials killing killing the officials in Iran did not give them the results what they wanted. They wanted to curb the Israeli regime. They wanted to break their knees, but they had not succeeded in that. We saw that how even after their top military officials were killed in this act of Israel, but still they managed to attack them back. They managed to retaliate, and they had given the big damage to Israel's reputation, to Israel's air defense, and to the myth that Israel can't be attacked. Israel can't be, we can't go, we can, the myth was there that you cannot enter into the Israeli mainland. That has been broken. So this is the biggest damage which the Israel has faced here. Then this was the second thing what they tried to establish. Now Israel is trying its hard. Israel is trying its best to bring in USA in this conflict so that they can use their arsenals, they can use their weapons to destroy all these nuclear installments in the Israel, but in the Iran. But if that happens, it will have a very wider impact on that region. It will definitely impact the security in the Middle East. It will definitely impact the economic transactions. It will definitely impact the prices of the oil. So it would what is the solution here? What can be the solution here? What is better for the world here? The better for the world is that right now both the countries, if we will look at the Iranian side, they are ready to go for the ceasefire. Iranian side, they are ready to go for the ceasefire. They don't have any problem with that. They had given it in the statements. If Israel will stop the attacks, they are ready to ceasefire. But for the Iran, this is the biggest hurdle, because if they will go for the ceasefire right now, it will impact their reputation, and the whole myth will be impacted. So right now they wanted to come up with their expectations, what the people in their country expect from them, what USA expects from them. They want to come up with this expectation, so they would fear to go for the ceasefire. But the reality is the solution to this issue is right now they should go for the ceasefire. They should renegotiate. They should take into the other mediators. India can be a good mediator because we have the great relationship between both Israel and Iran. We can be a good mediator here. We can mediate, and other countries can come in. They can mediate with Iran, and they can work on this issue in a very peaceful manner rather than going for this war. So this is the whole crux of this article. What Iran wanted to achieve, had they achieved it? No. But what they are doing right now, it is the acts what Israel is doing right now. It is bringing in the whole security of the region is under threat because of the acts what Israel is putting the Middle East in. So the solution to is better ceasefire, better understanding, better dialogue between the countries, and better sense to prevail. So this is what this article in nutshell talks about. There were a few points which I added from my own side, which are very much important for your understanding. And this is exactly what this article revolves around. Right now there would be many changes to this. There would be, the war is going on. It can go to the, right now it is severe. It can go to the any extent. Maybe after a few years, or maybe after a few times, sometime many countries will jump in this war. It is very critical condition in this region. So the story will build on. We will bring in what is important for you guys, and we will try to discuss that here. What is India's stand here? India has not condemned the actions of Israel, but at the same time, they are ready to talk. They are ready to peacefully negotiate between the two countries. So this is the stand where we stand right now. Now, with respect to this, a prelims-based question can be asked in the exam. A mains-based question can be asked how the situation in Middle East can impact the world, how it has the impact on the world, especially the Western world. You can have a question with respect to that. So you need to know how this can spread, how its impact can spread to the world economy, how it can lead to the, it can be a reason for the third world war. God forbid that should not happen. So with respect to this, let's have a look at the prelims question which can be relevant from this understanding. Here the question is, Operation Rising Lion, recently seen in news, was launched by which country? Definitely Israel. And in retaliation to Rising Lion, what was the operation launched by Iran? It is Operation True Promise. True Promise 3. It was launched by Iran. So this is about the article. I hope you had understood it. If there is any confusion, please do write in the comments. We are here to help you. Now with this, let's move to the another article which was in the newspaper today. Well, the article here is talking about India needs to design an inclusive pension system. If we look at our economy, if we look at the economic survey of 2025-2026, it has highlighted few important things. What are these important things? The pension holders or pension scheme in our country, if we will compare it with the GDP, India's pension assets, if we will compare it with the GDP, it comprises of 17% of the GDP. And if we will compare it with the world, with the other countries, their pension assets comprise of 80% of the GDP. So definitely we are very much lacking in it. We are very much lacking in it. And right now, if we look at the India's condition, we are enjoying the demographic dividend. We are enjoying the demographic dividend. Most of our population is in the working age group. And one of the issue with this is that even though our population is in the working age group, and in this most of our population, approximately something around 80% of our population is in informal sector. So when you are working, you are in a working age group and you are in informal sector, definitely you won't be having any such schemes like pension schemes. You won't be having any such old age pension schemes which you would have been connected with when you are in the working age group, and 80% of our working age group is in informal sector. So what will it lead to? After decades will come, after 10 to 20, after 30 to 40 years, this population would be very old age people. They would be old age people, and they would be in that age where they won't be able to work. So for that, they would depend on what? They would depend on working age people who are working, either their kids or their grandkids. They will depend on that. And this demographic dividend, if we look at the trends in our population, the family planning which we are working on, definitely more people will be dependent on very less amount of people. So it will create a chaos in our society. These people will not be able to feed themselves. How they can feed their parents or grandparents? They will not, these old people of that population, of that much amount, will be so much in distress. So for that, here the article says that, look at the picture right now. Our 80% people are in informal sector, and they don't have any social security associated with them. So here the article, in a way requests the government that they should bring in such a pension scheme which will cover all these people, so that they can enjoy the benefits when they are in the old age. So here the article highlights few of the issues with our pension scheme, with the pension scheme right now in our country. First one, it highlights that the scalability of the pension scheme. The scalability, all the people, if we have the pension scheme but they are focused towards some particular area, there is no inclusivity in it. What the article here says, that this inclusivity, everybody should be included in the pension scheme. There should be certain criteria which are to be followed, or there should be mandatory base pension given by the employers to the employees. This should be made mandatory, that without any doubt whether your money would grant, how this pension works. You will give some money, the employer will give some money and they will invest in, and once this investor gives the profit, then this pension would be given to you. But here the author says that the case should be that there should be a guaranteed pension which should be given to these people. Second, the second issue in our country is that these people who are in the informal sector, they are very less aware of the schemes. They are very less aware of the schemes which the government is bringing in for them. So here what they are asking what the author is asking, that these people should be educated about it. What are the schemes you can get benefits from, even though you are working in the informal formal sector, you are the gig workers, you are whatever you are, but they should know what are the schemes which can favor them. They should have the knowledge about them. And the third issue is talking about uh, the sustainability of the pension funds. These pension funds, they should invest in those areas which should be sustainable, which should be when they are giving the money, they are investing money for the pension funds, that money should be invested in such areas which are least risky. And also there should be a guaranteed amount of the money which should be fixed, that once you will invest this much money, once you will reach the pension age, then this guaranteed amount of money will be given to you, irrespective of whether this scheme has gained the profit or loss. So this is what the article here tries to highlight. The population of our country, it highlights how much they are involved in the informal sector. What is the contribution of informal sector with respect to our GDP? It contains approximately 80% of the informal sector. 80% of the informal sector in our country, they contribute to the 50% of the GDP. The population which is involved in informal sector, they contribute up to 50% of the GDP, and still they don't enjoy the benefits and the demographic dividend which we are enjoying right now. But it can be the demographic disaster after some time if we don't act proactively. So these are the things which the government has to look in. There should be the inclusive pension system which should include everybody. There should be the guaranteed amount of money which they will get when they will reach the pension age. So these are the few points which were highlighted in this article. I hope you had understood it. Now let's move to the another article and see what we had brought there. Well, the article here, it is talking about the SIPRI report, as it has highlighted. This SIPRI report, it has highlighted that India has increased its nuclear warheads count to 180. In earlier it used to, it was 172 in 2024. Now they had increased it to 180. And for Pakistan, which we need to know, they have 170. They had not increased it. So here one more thing was mentioned, which I would like to mention, that it talked about, this article also talked about two things. One is deployed warheads and the stockpiled warheads. Deployed warheads and stockpiled warheads. These deployed warheads, they would be deployed, they would be ready to be in a way they would be given the shape what they are meant for, but for the peaceful purposes. And these stockpiled, they would be in the stores or warehouses where they are not yet deployed. This is the basic difference between the two. And also this report also highlights what are the which country has the maximum number of nuclear warheads, and it is Russia. They have the maximum 4,380. Then it is USA, they have 3,700. Then it is China, they have 500. India has 180, and Pakistan has 170. Israel has 90 warheads, nuclear warheads. And if we will compare it, how many India has in stockpile and deployed warheads for India, it is 0, and stockpiled it is full. All of them are stockpiled. Similarly for Pakistan, they have 0 deployed and all are stockpiled. And one more thing, with respect to this, India is developing the technology that they want to transfer these nuclear warheads to different positions by the use of the canisterized missiles. What are these canisterized missiles? That these may be normal looking missiles. They want to move it to other regions, for safer regions, which in the peaceful times, so that they can use these simple warheads, simple rockets or missiles. They can convert them into the nuclear missiles, or we can say that in simpler terms, they are trying to have the dual usage of these warheads, which can be used for the simple simple rockets or simple missiles, which can be converted into the what they can become converted into the nuclear missiles. And right now they are transferring it to the strategic positions because of these, so that it can't be traced by the enemy countries where they are shifting them. So this is the major reason. And whatever the points highlighted by the SIPRI report, how many India has increased, which is important for us. And here what is important for us is the SIPRI report. Let's try to understand it through the question. Let's see what is the question which we had brought on it. The question says, which of the following statements regarding the SIPRI, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute report on global military expenditure? Basically, it is a think tank in this SIPRI. So let's have a look at it. The report indicates a continuous increase in global military expenditure, 100% country. The United States, China, and Russia were identified as the top military spenders globally in 2024, correct? And with respect to India, India stands at 5th position. Third, the report highlights a significant use in military spending in Europe, primarily driven by the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. 100% true. The most amount of weapons were used by Ukraine in 2024 report, and after that it was used by most of amounts not used by procured wire by Ukraine, and after that it was India in 2024. So the correct answer to this question is all the three statements are correct. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and have a look at what article we had brought here. Well, the article is about the synthetic aperture radar. What is synthetic aperture radar? Well, when we have the ordinary radars, they have an issue. Light emitting radars, they work on the light, and they have issue in working in dark environment, because this whole system, the mirrors which are used, the lenses which are used, they work on the reflection of light. So in the dark environment, in the darker atmosphere, it gets very hard for them to frame the images. So with respect to this, what is the synthetic aperture radar? I had brought a question for this, directly asking this. Let's have an understanding through the question. It will give you the better understanding. The question says, consider the following statements regarding the synthetic aperture radar technology. SAR systems are active sensors that emit microwave signals and record the reflected echoes to create image. In the SAR, microwave signals are used, and in other, they use the conventional light waves which form the image. But here the microwave signals are used because light waves need light to reflect. But if there is dark environment, then how it can reflect? For the microwave, they don't need any medium. They just need the place to stuck, and then it gets reflected back from the place which they wanted to get the image of, and the image gets formed on the lens. Then the second, unlike optical sensors, SAR can penetrate cloud, smoke, and operate effectively in complete darkness. 100% correct. That's exactly why it is used. It is being used. Third, it is primarily used for atmospheric studies and weather forecasting. Now, do you think they would use such technology for this weather forecasting? Even though it can be used, but not for the primary usage, is not for that, but it has a wider scope for the mapping and all that stuff in the atmosphere. So definitely third statement is incorrect. The correct answer to this question is option 1 and 2 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. Now let's move to the another article here. Well, Army team leaves for Indo-France joint exercise. What is the name of the joint exercise? It is Shakti. Let's have a look at the type of question which can be asked from this article. We can see it here. The question says, military exercise Shakti, a bilateral military exercise, is conducted between which of the following countries, India and France? Such questions are very much often asked in the prelims exam. In prelims exam, such questions are often asked. So you need to know what are the military exercises which are often conducted. You need to have a track of all these questions. And here I would like to mention one point that, now from 2nd June we are doing this. We are taking every day the current affairs classes. On the another side, we are taking the static classes. And every day we are bringing up many questions. In today's lecture, we had brought almost 4 to 5 questions. And every day we are bringing such questions. And also in the static part, we are bringing up various prelims based questions. If I was at your place, I would just try to note down these questions. I will develop my own question bank. From the 2nd June, we are doing this now till the month of May, if I will continuously do it. And in the month of May, I would want to revise my syllabus. At that time, we know we don't have enough time to revise. What I could do, I could just revise these questions, and these questions would give me the insight of the full current affairs of the year. And who knows, these would be exactly the questions which they are going to ask. And remember, trust me, the questions we discussed last year, many questions were asked, if not directly, but the statement wise the questions were asked, the concept wise the questions were asked in the exam. So these questions which we discuss here, just please, I request you guys to note down these questions, develop your own question bank, so that it will get very much easy for you to go for the last mile revision, and also have the understanding how the questions are actually asked in the exam. And also try to understand what can be the different methods which we can implement in the exam through these questions, to eliminate the options. So here, the correct option is India and France. Nothing much about the article, just the information which you need to get from this. Then the last article of today's discussion, well, the article is about the Kerala High Court bans single-use plastics in hilly areas, hotels, or near eco zones, so that they can reduce the plastic pollution. This plastic, one of the issue with it is plastics is it remains in food chain for a longer time period, and it is one of the worst polluter of the soil or atmosphere. So the Kerala High Court, it has banned the single-use plastics in hilly areas, or in the hotels, or in the nearby eco zones. So this is the update which you can give in your mains exam if you have to write any question about the plastic usage, how we can make it, how we can reduce it, and what government has done it, how the judiciary has interfered in such matters. You can use this argument there. So with this, we had completed our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Let me recap what we discussed. In the first article, it was about the Netanyahu's Pagalpan, how he is doing right now, how he attacked Iran, and what he expected, he has not achieved it. Now he is begging USA that they should interfere, and if USA interferes, if they try to change the regime, which is one of their focal point, it will have a very worse impact. We had seen what happened with respect to Iraq. We had seen what happened in other Gulf countries. So definitely it will destabilize this area, and definitely its impact, as they are one of our near neighbors to our country, it will definitely have impact on India too. Second, and India does not like Iran to be destabilized, because our assets are there. We had developed various projects there, and also we don't want Israel to have any such greater damage, because they are our close allies, and we are working on various projects. Second article, we discussed various pension schemes which the government should try to bring in. It should have an inclusive approach. What are the issues, the demographic dividend which we have right now, how it can become a demographic disaster after some years, some decades. For that, we have to work from right now. We have to secure their future. Then the third, it was about the SIPRI report. It has highlighted the nuclear warheads which India has right now. It has increased to 180, and also the dual usage technology which India is adopting, and with respect to other countries, where does India stand. Then after that, we discussed another article which is about the synthetic aperture radar, how it is different from optical radar, how the image formation in optical radar is quite difficult task, but in this the microwaves are used, which passes through clouds darkness, and we get the results very efficiently. Then another article, it talked about the Operation Shakti, the military exercise, joint military exercise between India and France, namely the Shakti military exercise. We need to know that name. It can be relevant for the exam. And finally, we discussed about the Kerala High Court judgment about the banning of the single-use plastics in hilly areas or near eco zones. So with this, we complete our today's discussion. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, do share it with your friends, and definitely subscribe the channel. And thank you for staying with us. And please do follow this initiative. It is totally free of the cost. You are paying in thousands for this initiative, trust me, in the coaching institutes, but here we are providing it totally free. Please be the part of this journey. Let us be the part of your journey. We will try our best to cover everything. You may be working, you may be doing anything, you don't have enough time for going to the coaching institutes, and this is exactly what is taught there. They, when you look at our static part, you will definitely understand, and if you are going to any coaching institute, you will see the difference. We are exactly teaching the same thing here, and that is totally free. So it is better for you to join this initiative. Rest is your choice. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.